To worship means to consider that which has worth. Today we consider with gratitude the many gifts of this community, and what a gift those rhythms were to start us off this morning. It is the opportunity to be affirmed in who we are and to offer that affirmation to others. The chance to stand up together to help remake the world in the ideal of justice. The freedom to choose one's own path to truth and to learn from the travelogues of others. The space to expand one's own spirit and to reconnect after busy or humdrum weeks with the sustaining truths of one's life. Regular reminders that we must see our world through the lens of love, and the aspiration to consider all life as precious. For if all life is made of stardust, how can it not be wondrous? So this morning, let's welcome all of these gifts with gratitude, for they have been paid for with many currencies. The blood of the martyrs who died so that we can be free in our religion. The sweat of those who persisted in justice's name against hostility and adversity. The tears of those who struggled to build better lives for those in this life. The questions of our children as they understand the world anew and offer their understanding to us as a fresh lens. The laughter and joy of those giddy with the embrace of community. The dollars and cents of those who gave what they could and then stretched a little bit more. The infinite acts of service that make the parts greater than the whole, done by those who knew themselves in sympathy with our purposes. So today we consider with gratitude and humility what it means to pay forward what has been paid forward for us. And now, with all of this, let us enter into worship with gladness in our hearts.
Well, good morning. It is wonderful to see you here this morning, newcomers, longtime members, those returning, those watching online. My name is Kimari Johnson, and I am glad to be your celebration associate today. Welcome. May we gather today and this year to nurture our connections, seek inspiration, and embrace change in these unpredictable times. Indeed, vulnerability is our theme for this month, but together we can find comfort and strength. If you are joining us for the first time, please visit our welcome table in the parlor after the service, or fill out a yellow card in the back of the pews and leave it in the offertory plate. After this service, you are invited to join us in the parlor for coffee and conversation, right through those doors again. And if you prefer a quieter space, you are also welcome to stay here in the sanctuary. Now I'd like to invite you to take a moment to read the announcements in your order of service. And please check our website for more information about how to create connections. And before we light our chalice, let's all take a moment to greet those around you. And now I'd like to invite Laura Free to come light our chalice this morning. And please join me in saying the chalice lighting words, which are printed in the order of service. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. Thank you, Lord.
Good morning. My name is Matt Hare, and I am chair of the Stewardship Committee. I'm so pleased that you're here, in person and online, to help us launch this year's pledge campaign. I hope that many of you will attend the Steward's Soup Lunch 1 week from today, 12 noon in the annex. We're breaking bread together to celebrate the many people who give their time and talent and treasure to support our mission at First Unitarian. We're all busy people. Each of us comes here for a reason. I keep showing up for the multi-age community, and even more because FUSIT nurtures my spiritual self while also helping me connect with action for social justice. Or more simply, I show up for connection, inspiration, and engagement. As a congregation, what determines our capacity to live into this mission, to connect and inspire and engage, what is that? It's you. It's all of you. Your generous pledge generates an operating budget for the next church year. Now, it's true that much of our impact on people's lives comes from our time and talent, that time and talent contributed by many of us. But to a large extent, your financial support determines our capacity to connect, inspire, and engage, because it makes possible our dynamic trio of ministers. It supports a living wage for our dedicated staff, and it makes possible the staffed programs like religious education, music, and once again, our choir. My daughter's starting OWL today. So each of you should have received your pledge card in the mail this week. If you choose to fill out a card today, hopefully you brought yours. There's some in the pews, and later when it comes time, if you don't have one near you next to the hymnal, there's probably others that are going, that are available elsewhere in the pews. So if you choose to fill one out today, and we invite you to walk it down, sachet it down, dance it down, however you want to get it down here. I ask that you think about how FUSIT has touched you or others around you, and give generously if you believe in our mission. Over the last year, we have seen innovative restructuring of our governance and ministry by the Board of Trustees, and working with our treasurer, they have kept us within budget. I'll be honest, our budget has suffered during and after our recent difficult years. Now, and I suspect you've noticed, we are enjoying a resurgence and reconnection. Showing up is a big part of living into our mission, but providing financial support also is critical. Please pledge generously. Today, sprinkled through our service are the personal reflections of several FUSIT members, offering living testimonials that, with your support, we truly do change lives through connection, inspiration, and engagement here at First Unitarian. Thank you.
Good morning, all. I'm Don Rakow, and I'll be delivering the Matters of Our Lives this morning. You've just been hearing from Matt Hare about the importance of supporting the church financially, and I hope each of you will respond to that call as you are able. But I'd like to speak to you all this morning about another way to support FUSIT, and that is through service. My wife, Susie, and I have been members of FUSIT on and off since the late 80s. And over the decades, together or separately, we have served on the board, chaired and served on committees and teams, led RE classes, been members or leaders of small group ministries, co-led Babies First, emceed the cabaret, for those who remember that, and have participated in Sunday services. We've taken on these various roles because we understand that the church requires lots and lots of volunteer service in order to thrive. But we also know that that's only half the equation for us. By engaging in the church's operations, we've been enriched by developing deeper understanding and appreciation of Unitarian Universalism, enriched by getting to know and care about our fellow congregants and our wonderful staff members, and enriched by the belief that we are involved in meaningful activities that make the world a better place. The more we get involved, the more we get out of the experience of being part of FUSIT. So I urge each of you to find at least one way or one additional way you can serve FUSIT and to reap the rewards that that service will bring. So stick your toes in the water, and soon you will find out how good it feels, and then you can dive right in. Thank you.
Friends, a couple of you said that you were going to help with baskets this morning. So if I came and talked to you, oh, here you come, about baskets, they are right up here. For everyone else, I invite you to rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 404, What Gift Can We Bring? As a reminder, we are taking collections for the village at Ithaca this month, so toiletries, toothpaste, hand soap, things like that. Thank you. What gift can we bring? What present, what token, what words can convey it? A joy of this day, when grateful we come, Thank you, friends, for your voices lifted in song and for your help with baskets. Good morning. And it is always so lovely to be here with you. Our theme for this month is vulnerability. And today we're going to explore that theme with a story about what it means to be generous even when you are in a place where you might be feeling vulnerable, when you feel like you don't have enough to share. I'd like to invite now anyone who'd like to come up to the front and join me and help me open my wonder box to come on up. Hi, come on up. Come on up. That's all right. I feel like we're still missing some friends. All right, go ahead and sit on the stairs for me for just a second. Go ahead and sit on the stairs for me for just a second. I'm going to... All right, friends, come on up. Who, can I have a quietly raised hand, who has not had a chance to open the Wonder Box recently? Have you had a chance, Connor? Have you? Do you want to? Can you, Walter, can you help pull it down so that Connor can open it? All right, friends, what did you find inside? A pot. And water, a pot and water. You know, a big glass of water. Did you have something you wanted to share? Go ahead.
There's stuff that you can make with pouring water in a pot.
You know, you're right. There is stuff that you can make by pouring water into a pot. You know, something like, what do you think, Alana?
Maybe like stew.
Like a stew or a soup. You know, I heard this story about soup that you can make with stones.
Yeah, stone soup.
Oh, have you heard a version of this story before? All right, you have. Well, we're going to see if we can make some stone soup today. So there are a lot of versions of this story, and the one that I know goes like this. One day, a group of friends was traveling down the road, and as they were traveling, they were talking about all sorts of things, like cat's whiskers, and the color of the sky, and anything that came to mind. As they were traveling, the youngest said, "I wonder what it means to be happy." The oldest and wisest of the group said, "Perhaps we should find out." As they were walking, they came to the top of a hill, and below them they saw a village. Now, they knew that this village had been through some hard times, and that the people there worked very hard, but they had learned to only work for themselves. So this group of friends traveled down to the village, but nobody came to meet them at the gate. As they walked inside the village, all of the windows were closed tight and shut. When they knocked on doors, no one answered. So they took their pot, and they took their water, and they put it in the middle of the village. Can you move it over to the middle for me? Yeah, and they poured some water in, and then they went to gather some twigs and branches and started a fire. Now, after a little while, a little girl came out, and she said, "What are you doing?" And one of the travelers answered, "Well, we're making stone soup. But in order to make stone soup, we need to start with 3 smooth stones." Did you happen to know where we could find 3 smooth stones? So the little girl went out and she helped to find 3 smooth stones. Friends, I think we might have 3 smooth stones here somewhere. Could you go out and see if anyone has 3 smooth stones to share with us this morning? Okay, you found one. Great. Have we found 3? I see 1, 2, 3. All 3 smooth stones. Come on back and put it in our pot. You did? Well, you know, what's interesting is the little girl came back with her stones and they put it in the pot, and you know, the youngest of the group looked at the pot and said, I'm not sure that this pot is quite big enough to make, enough soup to share. And the little girl said, "Oh, I know, I'll go get my mother's pot." So she ran home and she said to her family, "There are strangers here and they're making stone soup. Can I borrow this pot?" And their family said, "Sure," because they were very curious as well. "Could you find us a pot?" Alana, you said you know where a pot is? Do you have a bigger pot for us? Oh, look, there just happens to be a bigger pot. Friends, yeah, could you transfer our stones and our water into our bigger pot? So, the friends stirred the pot, the stones and the water bubbled, the smoke rose, and people in the village started to get curious. So they started to creep out of their houses, trying to see what was going on. And as they were stirring the pot, one of the travelers said, they said aloud, you know, in traditional stone soup, usually we season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. That would be awfully delicious if we had some salt and pepper. And someone from the back snuck back, disappeared for a moment, and they came back with some salt. And someone else wandered back to their house, and they came back with some pepper. Friends, did you find some salt and pepper out there? Have you found any salt and pepper? You found some? Come on up. Oh, and you found the pepper. Come on up and sprinkle that into our soup, friends. All right. Do I have 2 stirrers? Great. So as they continued to stir, these travelers in this village, they added their spices. One of them said aloud, I remember the last time that I had stone soup, we had some carrots. And oh, it made the broth so very delicious. And a woman said, oh, I have some carrots at home. And she came back with there's more carrots out there, friends. There are more carrots out there. She came back with armfuls of carrots. Armfuls of carrots, which she placed into the pot. Oh, those carrots look beautiful. They're orange and yellow and purple. I see more carrots right over there, too. The crowd around our soup grew. Can you put the carrots in? Thank you. Did we find all the carrots? All right, I think that's the last one. Come on back. The soup was starting to smell really good now. The salt and the pepper and the carrots and the stones adding that secret, special, taste and smell to it. And as they stirred, the oldest of the friends said, what would make this absolutely perfect would be some nice, juicy onions. And a farmer said, oh, I have some onions. And they went back to their house and they returned with, and leeks too. Onions and leeks. You found an onion. Thank you. Put it right into the pot. Put it right into the pot. You could put that in. There's some celeriac. Who knew what people had in their pantries? We've got some onions and leeks. Go ahead, put them in. Put them in. And as the soup continued to cook, did you find the last onions? And as the soup began to cook and it really started to smell good, this magical thing happened. What do you think happened, friends?
It went poof and turned into a potion.
It did not go poof and turn into a potion, although I might argue that it does have some magical healing restorative powers here. So what happened as people saw their friends and neighbors being generous, that generosity grew. And soon everyone was running back to their homes and saying, oh, I have a couple of potatoes. I have some celery. I have a few mushrooms left. I would love to add it to the pot. Friends, would you like to go and see if there are any other vegetables or herbs, maybe some garlic, some kale, that we could add to our soup here this morning? What did you find? Oh, potatoes and kale, some more celery. This is going to be such a delicious soup. A lot of stuff. Some peppers.
I found peppers.
You found peppers. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. That's right. And then we need someone to stir so it doesn't burn on the bottom. This is very important. Friends who, thank you, Waldo. Thank you for being our stirrer. All right, did we find all of the soup? All right, maybe we need to let the soup bubble for a minute without stirring so that it can get that good heat going. Sometimes when you overstir it, it just will never quite get warm enough. Did we find all of the vegetables, friends?
I think.
So by the end, you got another one? Peas. By the end of the night, there was a huge pot of the most delicious soup. And for the first time in a really, really, really long time, everyone in the village came together. They pulled out tables and chairs. They brought out mismatched bowls and spoons. They poured bowls of soup for their friends and neighbors. They sat down together and they had a meal. And the people of the village said to these travelers, this group of friends, these strangers, they said, "Thank you so much for your generosity in sharing your stone soup with us." And the friends said, "You are the ones who have been generous in taking in people you do not know and sharing a meal with us." And they said, this sharing, this generosity is love. And you have now found love again. The people in the village even offered these travelers a place to stay. They gratefully slept the night and traveled on in the morning. How was the stone soup, friends? Did any of you notice anything on the back of our ingredients here? So can you start handing them to me? So you may have noticed in your seats that there was a little message asking people here to write on the back one gift that you bring to this community. Because the gifts that we bring aren't always something we can hold in our hand, something that nourishes our body, but that nourishes our hearts. So here are some of the gifts in our community. This one says history. Thank you. This one says care for others. Oh, there's so many. All right, let's read about all these gifts. Trying to keep the social media active. Attentiveness. Thank you. Steadiness. Love. Thank you. There's so many things here in our soup. Not all of these have gifts written on the back, but that's all right. Sometimes we are still figuring out what our gifts are. Hospitality. I've got acceptance of differences. Thank you. I would love, can you give me a minute to finish reading, and then I would love to try your soup. Can you make sure it's cool enough for me?
It has dogs.
Excellent. We have reflection. Did you get them all out?
You're gonna have a stone.
I am. I'm gonna have a stone. That's all right with me.
Stones and some
Do we have anything else here with words written? Did you find anything else with words
potatoes
written?
and
I've got respect.
this is what she's gonna have.
Can you read this one?
Music.
This one says music.
I guess you're a whole pot.
Oh, I have another one that says music. We got a lot of people sharing their gift of music. Friendliness and more music.
I do that.
You do? You share friendliness?
Yes.
You do.
Yeah.
You do share friendliness.
Some soup.
All right. Anything else in here? I don't want to miss anyone's gifts. It's very important. Is there any gifts on here?
No.
All right. If our activity today has made you hungry for some real soup, you have the opportunity to come and have soup with us next Sunday. And I don't think that there will be any stones in it, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe you will find some stones. Thank you so much for sharing in this story. Oh, I will have this. I will absolutely try this stone. Thank you so much. I'm going to give this stone a little taste, and then we are going to send our friends here up to Ari. Oh, that is so delicious. It is so delicious. Why?
It's just gonna hurt the teeth.
It is the magic ingredient. All right, friends, thank you for sharing your story with me. Thank you, all of you, for your help this morning. And I invite you to sing our children and youth out with hymn number 414 as we leave this friendly place. There's extras up here if you'd like to try some. Leave this friendly place of our free place. Nope.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Lily Grover, and I've been asked to share a reflection about my time here at FUSIT. So I've been a member of FUSIT since before I can remember. I've been attending Sunday services with my parents, and I worked my way up through RE, learning about religious exploration. And I've gained so many experiences and met so many people through the opportunities through RE and FUSIT. RE allowed me to explore other faiths and form friendships that remain to this day. Activities such as Mystery Pals and Unirondac, many of you I'm sure have participated in, and I've heard Unirondac is coming back this year, which is very exciting. So activities such as Mystery Pals and Unirondac have made many of those friendships intergenerational and have given me people that I can look up to. Thanks to my attendance at FUSIT, I have gained a greater sense of my own identity and made me a more well-rounded individual. And so I'm so grateful to this community for everything that has provided me throughout my experiences here. And I hope that that will continue for many years to come.
I first started coming to the First Unitarian Society of Ithaca in 1994. Since then, we've had many different settled ministers and interim ministers, but the one constant has been the extraordinary nature of this congregation and the community that it represents. This is a place full of wonderful people. I have learned so much from the ministers, most recently from our distinguished congregational life team, from guest speakers, from the staff, and from my fellow congregants. All of these people inspire me with their warmth, their adventurous spirit, and their continual search for ways to contribute to the community and the world. They have taught me a lot about kindness, generosity, and service. Thanks to them, philanthropy and volunteering have become not only integral parts of my life, but important sources of its meaning. As the poet Rabindranath Tagore wrote, "I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service was joy." This discovery, together with my heart connection to this beloved community, has enriched my life beyond measure. I am so grateful.
In a spirit of reverence, love, and care, we take time now to bear witness to some of the joys and sorrows of our community, to share those events that call for our prayers and support, our praise and celebration. Very unusual, I don't have any green cards today. I will, however, share a joy that I've been eager to share for ages, and that is the joy of serving this area, this congregation, through Babies First, with my wonderful colleagues, Sue Raycow and Pat Gaines. We do great work together. For those we are holding in our thoughts, in our hearts, and perhaps in our prayers, let us call out names out loud into this community, into this space of healing and hope, right now. We extend loving kindness to all in our world. And let us not forget to extend loving kindness to ourselves,
today, tomorrow, and beyond. Let our hands be outstretched in kindness, and let us keep showing up to our lives and to each other with an open heart, no matter what. Love and courage to us all. Amen.
I invite you to take a moment to ground yourself into this space as we consider the gifts of this community. FUSIT member Amelia Habicht shares, "The list of connections I would thank for a lion's load of help as I transition from my once life to cancer wife, to widow, to home-moving strife is miles long. These FUSIT connections speak to the strength of our FUSIT community and are, in turn, deeply inspiring and engaging." As we center ourselves, I invite you to contemplate the following. What connections have you made here that have given you strength as you navigate challenges in your life? What gifts have you offered to others that have been gratefully received? How can we embrace generosity as one of the core tenets of this faith?
Sometimes vulnerability means being ourselves, showing up with our authentic self in the face of a world that makes us maybe want to hide who we are. So our meditation song this month is Love and Be Who You Are. The words are in your order of service if you want to look at them, but we'll sing it through a bunch of times, so just let it sink in and join in when you feel comfortable. Love and be who you are. Love and be who you are. We make up this world with all that we are. May we love and be who we are. May we love and be who we are. Love and be who we are. May we love and be who we are. May we love and be who we are. we are. May we love and be who we are. May we love and be who we are.
Hello, I am Lucy Wall, and ever since I was very little, going to church was never something I looked forward to. I would wake up Sunday morning expecting the rest of the weekend to be my oyster, only to remember that 2 whole hours of it would be spent in RE, or having conversations with people, or sitting still. But every time church ended, I would skip, smiling through the parking lot, jabbering away to my parents and complaining about having to leave so soon. Turns out, I loved the tradition of sitting in the pews, watching people I hazily recognized talk about togetherness. I loved the sense of belonging that comes with knowing every inch of a place. Through UU, I have met people who today are some of my closest friends. I connected with music and developed an appreciation for sincerity. In several other settings I have encountered, it feels standard to believe only in concrete truth and to scorn belief in anything else as weakness. But seeing people I respect talking week after week about their beliefs has taught me the importance of having values, regardless of religious affiliation. And in spite of my sympathy with skepticism, I have found myself defending forms of faith to others. This is not to say that I hold an ounce of certainty about my own beliefs or disagree with those who criticize traditional forms of spirituality. But things like gratitude, honesty, and community are valuable in some way to everyone. My favorite of these is community, and I hope in the future to find more spaces like this one that treasure it explicitly.
As children, we often have no basis for comparison as far as what's considered normal in other families or households. Our world is shaped entirely by our own experiences. It took me a long time when I was a child to recognize that my family was poor, to realize that not everyone shared the experiences that I found normal, like going to the place with my mother where we were given big blocks of cheese and huge containers of peanut butter with generic black and white labels. Like the need for constant car repairs of the rust-covered vehicles that seemed to cycle through during my childhood. By late elementary or middle school, I knew that these things were things to be ashamed of, that they were things to hide. But when I was young, they were just this normal part of my existence. There were other things too, some that I didn't even recognize until I was an adult. There were other symptoms of living in poverty. We moved apartments almost every year. I don't ever remember us staying in one place for more than 2 years. I'm still not sure if it's because they raised the rent and we just couldn't afford to live there anymore, or if it's because my mother was behind on rent and we weren't allowed to live there anymore. I remember in high school, the choir that I was a part of was taking a trip to Disney World. And one day after rehearsal, the director came up to me and she said, "Don't worry, Emily, we'll make sure you get there." And I just looked at her and nodded, and I didn't realize until later that the reason she was saying that to me was because my family couldn't pay to send me. And there's this constant vulnerability in living a life of poverty. When you have that experience, especially for people who are poor for an extended period of time, there can be a fear that comes with it. that can make generosity feel challenging, even dangerous. The constant worry that if you give some of what you have to others, that you will be left with nothing. And yet, my mother was always taking care of others, always sharing what we had. We had a seemingly endless parade of stray animals and people who found shelter in our home. Beyond the usual stray cats and dogs, we also had an occasional baby possum or wounded bird. Friends and cousins rotated into and out of our house during times of need, staying for a few months or even a year. And study after study continues to show that the generosity of those who have less exceeds those who have more. Even with the vulnerability that poverty brings, or perhaps because of it, individuals who are struggling financially are more likely to give to those around them who are in need. So I read Carol Kamen's book over the last year or so, the one that documents the history of this community from 1865 to 1945. And what stood out to me was this pattern of financial vulnerability of this congregation. For those of you who haven't read it, much of the book is a documentation of the various ministers that this congregation has had over the years. But woven throughout are notes about events, programs, and issues important to the time. And each time the community needed a new minister, each time a repair to the building was needed, or when we needed a new building altogether because of an accidental fire, this book documents the financial stress and strain that this caused, noting multiple times throughout this period when the budget needed to sustain this community far exceeded the funds at hand. Even with the support of the AUA, the American Unitarian Association, which preceded our current UUA, for many years, this community was barely making ends meet. And yet, still, we continue to use what we have to help others, to share our offering once a month, to expand our programming to care for parents and children, to make our spaces available for free when rituals of celebration and loss are needed for the members of this community, to offer food and warmth, to give of ourselves, to center generosity as one of the primary values of this UU faith. When we make stone soup, as we did earlier, each generously adding what we have to the pot, we find that there is more than enough for everyone. We don't all need to add the same amount. We just have to offer what we can. It is in the coming together, in the pooling of our resources, time and talents, that we create something nourishing and a little bit magical. And if what we have to offer isn't potatoes or carrots or onions or even that bunch of celeriac that I threw in, you can take hold of the handle and help to stir. You can go out and gather wood for the fire. You can treat the group to a story or song. Those gifts are also welcomed and appreciated. You are welcomed and appreciated with both the gifts that you offer and your need for nourishment. May we come together in the spirit of generosity and love. So may it be.
Each week, we take an offering to sustain the important ministries and programs of this congregation and its presence in Ithaca. Giving to the plate is important. It's a symbol of our gratitude for this service and our ongoing commitment to support the work of this church. And as you can see, we're going to have something special today. Matt alluded to it earlier. Today, we, in addition to inviting a cash or electronic offering, we begin our annual pledge campaign with the ritual of embodied celebration, right? So we'll be hearing some music, and we can walk down with our offerings and our pledge cards, and we can walk with that music, we can dance with that music, we can do anything that moves us as we're expressing ourselves and giving to this church today. There are two separate expressions for the support that are going into the same hat. This offering that's showing gratitude here and now, and the pledge card, which is reporting your expected support during the next church year, 2023 and 2024. For those watching remotely, instructions for giving using your phone or computer will appear on your screen during the offertory music and in the information below the live stream image on YouTube. We encourage you to pledge electronically or dance your pledge card down to the mailbox. And I see some pledge cards are being distributed.
Hi, I'm Sharon Beltaine. I just wanted to say a few words about what we're playing here. So, first of all, I want to gratefully acknowledge Tyler Hathaway and Stephanie Ortolano for bringing their wonderful musicianship to playing together with me this morning. We're playing rhythms from Africa, and there are two drums actually from Africa. Tyler is holding a drum from Guinea, and Stephanie's is from Senegal. So the rhythms, the first rhythm that we played is called Funga, and it's from Liberia, and it's a welcome rhythm and dance that is traditionally played in a village to welcome people to the village. The words are Funga Alafia, Ashe Ashe, which means greetings, we bring to you joy and peace. So that was the first rhythm that we played. Right now, we're going to play a rhythm from Guinea called Manjani. This is the young girls coming of age dance, and it is another popular rhythm from Guinea. At the close, we'll be playing the fisherman dance, Kuku, also from Guinea. It's also played in festivals. I want to also gratefully acknowledge my teachers over the years. Right here in Ithaca, Michael Marcus and Edward Biko Smith, who folks may have known. And from Africa, Mamadi Keita and Membe Bangura, both from Guinea. So thank you very much.
I'm so glad everybody knew what to do and everybody just went with the music and came down, and it was so much fun seeing everybody come down the aisle. Thank you all. Please join me in saying the offertory words printed in your order of service. May these gifts bring about connection, inspiration, and engagement within these walls and beyond.
I invite you to rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 1010. Please note that we are going to sing We Give Thanks for the time, the first time through. We're going to sing it through 3 times. And then Love, and then These Gifts the last time. We give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share in love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. We give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this love we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for these gifts we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
I have a distinct memory from a while ago of having an informal debate over some controversial topic like immigration, the environment, or healthcare. And I remember my opponent arguing that my position was more costly than theirs, which was meant to be a winning point for them. However, that led to the first time I had ever articulated a sentiment that I now repeat often, which is, I don't mind paying for what I believe in. And not coincidentally did I recently draw inspiration from Netflix's dramatization of the trial of the Chicago 7, depicting the account of political activists on trial for inciting riots at the Chicago Democratic National Convention in 1968. In it, Abbie Hoffman's character, after being asked if he would have taken $100,000 or $1 million to call off his group's protests, and after being asked how much would it cost for him to call off the revolution, what price, he answers, my life. And that's a real quote of his, by the way, and I'm simply blown away by that. And while we may not be asked to give our lives or more than we can afford, we do work that unfortunately can make us feel vulnerable and puts ourselves at risk in this world. We've learned that simply expressing one's views can invite hostility, displaying a rainbow flag can invite vandalism, attending a Black Lives Matter demonstration can invite physical attacks. I come here because FUSIT is goodness. It's goodness organized. And I imagine, like for everyone here, FUSIT restores our faith in humanity and love and gives us the opportunity, energy, and strength to keep working to make our world a better place. And what I'd like to do at the end, when we're all finished, we'll go through those parlor doors and we'll take a look at what our pledges look like when we all come together. And now for the extinguishing of our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
This is our start, what we've done today. Over the next month, you'll see progress. Each figure is a pledge, and we've got a wonderful start. Thank you.